Hello students, today we look at 5 grammar tips that you can use on the SAT writing section or the ACT English section. So let's begin. The first tip is on parallel structure. Parallel structure means that if we have a list in a sentence, then every item of the list should follow the same grammatical rule or the same grammatical structure. For example, here I have Patrick Juola, a computer scientist at Duquesne University, examined patterns of adjacent words and characters, frequency of common words, and word lengths. Right? So I have a group of items that this professor examined: patterns of adjacent words and characters, frequency of common words, and word lengths. So this verb examined works for each of these, right? So it's another way of saying that she examined patterns of adjacent words and characters. Rather, he examined patterns of adjacent words and characters. He examined the frequency of common words, and he examined word lengths. But we can also choose to put a separate verb before each item. So we can also say Patrick examined patterns of adjacent words and characters, studied frequency of common words, and measured word lengths. This is also correct because in this case, I'm following the structure of verb plus object. So I'm doing verb plus object in the first case, verb plus object in the second case, and verb plus object in the third case. So I can either just have the verb in the beginning and not repeat the verb, or I need to repeat the verb with every instance. Let's say there was an example which said, Patrick examined patterns of adjacent words and characters, frequency of common words, and measured word lengths. That would be wrong, right? Why would that be wrong? Because in that case, I'm using the verb examined for the first and the second item on the list, but I'm introducing a new verb for the third item, and that goes against parallel structure. Okay. Let's move on. Tip number 2 relates to subject-verb agreement. So if you have a long sentence, then it's very important to figure out the correct verb and subject combination. So let's say the diner near the dorms, which something, we need to figure out the correct verb form for house. The students serves breakfast all day. So let's say that I had to choose between house or houses. And here I had to choose between serves and serve. So first I need to figure out what is the noun or the subject for this verb, right? So the diner serves breakfast all day. So I know that serves is the verb for diner. The diner serves breakfast all day. And so serves is correct because diner is singular and serves is the singular verb. Now, house is the verb for dorms. Why? Because I'm saying the diner near the dorms, which house the students. So it is the dorms that house the students. And since dorms is plural, house is correct because that is the plural verb. So the best way to solve a subject-verb agreement question on SAT or ACT is to find out the correct subject and verb pair and then decide if the verb will be singular or plural based on whether the subject is singular or plural. Okay, when we have the X of Y construction, like a convoy of trucks, then the subject is supposed to be X. So when I say a convoy of trucks is passing through the town, I would say is because convoy is singular, right? So this is like saying that it's a collective noun of trucks. I'm kind of using convoy as a collective for trucks, and that will be the subject. Okay. Let's look at some more subject-verb agreement. Tip number 3. Okay, so when I have expressions like as well as, together with, in addition to, along with, these are called additive phrases. And they are different from and in that they don't change the singular or plural nature of the main subject. This is the main subject. So let's say I say the general as well as the soldiers has died, right? As well as the soldiers is an additive phrase, so it will not change the singular nature of general. The general as well as the soldiers has died. I will use a singular verb. The general together with the soldiers has died. Again, a singular verb. The general in addition to the soldiers has died. Again, singular. The general along with the soldiers has died. So in all the cases, I would look at the main subject and determine my verb based on what the main subject is. If I have and in the sentence, then obviously it will become plural. So if I say the general and the soldiers have died. Also, if my main subject itself is plural, then again, even with an additive phrase, my main verb, that is this verb, will also be plural. So if I say the generals as well as the soldiers have died, because this time the main subject itself is plural. Okay, let's go to tip number 4, comma versus semicolon, right? This is a very important distinction and this is tested frequently on the tests. So let's say I have a sentence like this. The economy is not doing well. This means that the government should take action. Why is this wrong? Because the economy is not doing well is an independent clause or a full sentence. And this means that the government should take action is another independent clause or a full sentence. And we cannot join two independent clauses with a comma. When we do that, we create an error called a run-on. This is a run-on error. So that is clearly not the right answer. Now, let's say I am trying to say the economy is not doing well, which means that the government should take action, right? Now, in this case, when I say the economy is not doing well, this is independent. And when I say which means that the government should take action, this cannot stand on its own, right? This is not a complete sentence. And so this is a dependent clause. And since an independent clause and independent clause are to be joined, this comma is correct, right? So this is not a problem because you're joining an independent with a dependent clause. Okay, what about a semicolon? Again, if I look at the first example, the economy is not doing well. This is sentence 1. This means that the government should take action. This is sentence 2. Here, a semicolon is going to be correct because it's just like a full stop in the sense that it can be put between two independent sentences, right? So if you have two independent sentences and you want to put a punctuation between them, you would choose a semicolon over a comma. Okay, and let's go to tip number 5, the use of despite and in spite of. So both of them mean the same thing. Both of them are meant to indicate that, for example, if I say despite your reservations, we went ahead and purchased the company. It means that yes, we know that you had reservations, you had some issues, you had raised some concerns, but despite all of that, we went ahead and purchased the company, right? So we didn't even though there were concerns, we kind of didn't consider them. And in spite of means the same thing. In spite of your concerns or your reservations, we went ahead and purchased the company. It's what is important and what I'm trying to stress on is that despite does not take any preposition, right? So despite of is wrong, right? While in spite has of. So in spite takes preposition of. So in spite of your reservations, we went ahead and purchased the company. So remember this when you are asked to choose between these two options. Okay, so that was a quick video on 5 grammar tips that you may find useful on the SAT and ACT. Let me know if you found this useful and let me know in the comments if you would like more such videos on tips and tricks for the sections in the tests, right? Please subscribe to the channel if you found the video useful and help spread the word. I'll see you guys soon in another video. Goodbye. Take care.